everyone, Mrs. Mapula here. Today we're going to be creating 10 count block manipulatives. What you need for this is scrap paper, preferably 3 different colors such as green, yellow, and blue. You need a pencil with an eraser, a ruler, and scissors. Let's get started. Want to first get your piece of paper and your ruler. If you have blue scrap paper, this will be perfect because we are starting with our 100 block. And what we're going to do today using our ruler is we're going to remember that each half of an inch is going to represent 1 cube unit. So for our 100 count block, we're going to measure 5 inches. So I'm counting over 5. I'm going to make a little mark to indicate on the side of my paper that I'm at 5 inches. So I measure 5 inches on one side. I rotate the paper. On that same corner area, I'm going to measure off 5 inches once again. And then I'm going to continue to measure that 5 inches, use my ruler to create straight lines to kind of draw off that square, that block. And as I continue to measure, it just helps me keep things even on each side. So now that I'm measuring a line on the inside of my paper, I know exactly where the 5-inch mark is on each side, so I can keep that line kind of straight as I draw. So I have one side measured 5 inches on the inside, and now I'm going to do my other side. I'm going to use the straight edge of the side of the ruler to draw that line down. And now that I have each side of my square measured at 5 inches, I can go in with my scissors and I can cut it out. I have indicated on my square that this is the 100 count. And I'm just cutting it out. Now, for our Math City project we're going to be doing soon, you only need 100 count block. But I do want to encourage my friends to create more of each of these blocks we're going to be creating today, because you can hold on to these blocks and you can use them in your math class. So it is better to make multiples of them if possible. Here I have 3 examples. After you have finished your 100 count blocks, we're then going to move on to our 10 count. We're keeping that same idea in mind that each half of an inch on our ruler is going to measure out and equal up to 1 cube unit. So here I am measuring out on my ruler once again to 5. So I've measured out 5 inches on one side. This time, instead of measuring out 5 inches at the bottom, I'm only going to measure out 1/2 of an inch. That's because we only need 1 cube unit, so 1/2 of an inch there. I'm doing the 1/2 an inch at the top, so the top and the bottom are 1/2 of an inch, and the sides are 5 inches. Continuing to use my ruler to make sure my measurements are correct. Then I'm using the side of my ruler to measure down, get a straight edge. So that I can then cut out my 10 count. I'm putting just a 10 mark to indicate this is for 10s. Now, on my actual prepared blocks, you do see where each of the units are kind of have a line or measured out. If you wanted to add that, you could. It's not required. And as we did with the hundreds, if you want to create multiples of these, it will be useful not only on our project, but also for your math class. So here I have about 10 counts. If you would like to create about 10 as well, you can, but if you only have time for one, it will do for our project. And then our last paper, yellow paper if possible, we're going to create our 1 count unit cube. So for this, each side is going to be measured with 1/2 inch. Once again, I'm measuring at the side of my paper, just measuring it to 1/2 inch. And then I'm going to do the same thing on the bottom. This is going to be kind of small. We want to be careful not to lose these. And then I'm going to draw the length of the side, 1/2 inch over, and then the top. And I'm going to cut it out. Now, same as always, you want to make as many multiples of these as possible for your 1 count unit cube. This will be very useful, not only for the project, but also for math class once again. And these are very quick to make, just with 1/2 inch. I do want to encourage you, once you have created all your manipulatives, especially if you have a lot of them, that you place them all together in a bag. And it does help having them as different colors for the project and for math. Once you have these prepared and you have them set aside, you'll be ready for our Math City project. Super excited for that, and I'll see you there.